Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel Aspire Heights. Today's vlog will be a productive vlog which will help you in your study. Stay connected and watch this video till the end. First important strategy of being a topper or being a good scorer is early wake up and yearly revision. Morning revision actually boosts your confidence, your memory power. What you have read yesterday, you can revise it in morning just for 5 minutes. That's enough, more than enough to boost your memory power, your scores, everything. The second tip which I used and I personally advise you is NCERT 3 step. First, NCERT Pacific Ocean. That is as deep as Pacific Ocean. You have to read your NCERT book, not just highlighting it or being just with it cannot do at all. If you have any chapter, you can just go through all here. Then read line by line, get into the concept as deep as the Pacific Ocean. The second step of NCERT is question bank. Once you finish your chapter, just see through the questions available in text, then questions available on the back side of your NCERT. The third is skimming. Skimming is a very effective step. It includes just revising the important points. If I have a very important point here, I would just highlight it so that when I revise in the early morning, my eyes would get to know it. As I shared 3 tips of reading the NCERT, let me tell you with an example how you can actually revise your NCERT. For example, if this is a paragraph, you are starting with the title. Understand the title. Always crack a chapter with using its title. What is title is actually trying to say you what is it is about. So it is just a subtopic. Plasma membrane or the cell membrane. You are gonna read this whole paragraph first. After reading this whole paragraph, what you are trying to get, you have to just write in a small place. Like the main important point given here is that plasma membrane is a selectively permeable membrane. Then this paragraph also tells about the moment called diffusion, about its explanation, how it moves from the concentration of area high to low. So these are the 3 important keywords which are in this paragraph. So you can highlight these alone, and when you revise this on the morning, you can actually use these highlighted points to just skim the book. The second point which I mentioned was question bank. You can buy a extra guide for whichever class you have. In that guide, you can just check what are the questions given other than the NCERT questions, so that you get an extraordinary practice of cracking whatever the questions are available in your question bank, as well as it won't be difficult to answer any of the question in your examination, or it might be your test. The second tip which I shared was NCERT tips. How you can actually read your NCERT. I would tell you to make notes for science and social. In social too, if you have too long chapter, don't waste your time making notes for history. For example, if you take class 10, if you take class 10's chapter of history, that is rise of nationalism in Europe, it is a too long chapter. All the chapter in class 10 history are too long. Don't waste your time by making their notes. If you revise the chapter for 3 to 4 times, you will get to know what the chapter is about. After reading this, you can actually make a timeline. In history, history is actually all about dates. History is all about dates. You can make a timeline. By that timeline, you can actually revise the whole chapter. You just understand history by a story. What happened after what? Who came? who was the king, what he did in his time. That's all. Your chapter can get easily coded. That is decoded. You can easily read your chapter. For geography and civics, I will tell you to make just key points in your classwork. For example, if you have civics chapter, you can just write some important dates or an article number. For example, article 54 or 154. You can write those only. But NCRT, you have to read it by line so that you can actually get good marks in your class 10 boards. If I'm talking about other classes like 6, 7, 8, 9, you can read your NCRT too. You can also make some small notes for revisions. Okay. Now I will tell you what are the books I actually used for my preparation in class 10. If you want to know all these things in detail about my books, about my app which I use, the YouTube channel which I studied, my notes, handmade notes, I will definitely share. Do follow my channel. I will upload a video soon about this. Now, here I am sharing study tips alone. As I told you that yearly wake up revisions actually boost your confidence and your memory. You can easily solve any of the questions. The third tip which I will tell you was notes making. You can actually make short notes without wasting your time, especially in the chapter like history. You no need to waste your times much because history is too long. If you start to make notes line by line, you will think that it is longer than the book content. So I will tell you not to make notes for history. When it comes to the next subject, that is science, english science, English, maths, SST, and any other language subject. It can be Hindi, it can be Sanskrit, it can be Tamil too, or any other language, Telugu, whatever language you have. So, English is the compulsory language. It can be your first language too, or second language too. So for English, I would tell you to keep your NCRT as Bible, Quran, or Bhagavad Gita, whatever. You have to read English, especially the thoroughest ever, because in English you can use those phrases in your questions. You need not to memorize any other question banks answer and all. You can just read your NCRT and use the key phrases mentioned in English book in your answer. For long answer, I will definitely give a new tip in my new video. For each and every subject, I am gonna share you some topper strategy how to deal with different subject. Because what strategy you can use for science, you cannot use for English too, because science is a different subject. In even science, biology, chemistry, physics, you have to deal all this subject differently. Biology is totally about memorizing. Chemistry is both memorizing plus few numericals, few logic based question. Physics of Physics is fully about numericals. You have to practice those numericals with concentrations. You have to memorize those formula tools, few definitions too. So for all these subject, I will definitely share a different video. Till then, stay happy, stay connected. Thank you.